Hey there, welcome to your weekly astrology forecast for the week of October 16th through the 22nd. So, we are in the middle of eclipse season. We had our new moon solar eclipse in Libra last week, and we'll have our full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus next week. So, right now, we're really in the middle of this portal, so to speak, of this time of change and transition and transformation and allowing for new things to come in very rapidly and then old things to fall away as well. So we have some activity this week involving the sun and Mercury, and then a very supportive and beneficial aspect involving Venus and Jupiter. My name is Shauna McGrath. I'm a psychotherapist and astrologer, and I'm really excited to share the astrology of this week with you so that you can make the most of it. So, what I want to share with you first is this week has a sense of intensity to it because we're in eclipse season. And there's some energy here around really continuing to understand and identify and get clarity on the themes in your life that are coming up. And I want to say, like, what is the meaning? What is it that you want to do with this, and where to go from here? So, this week is about new insights coming in and new awarenesses. And um, it may not necessarily be a week of taking action on those things, but there's going to be a lot of ideas, a lot of downloads. And so I want you to capture those in the way that works best for you. So strongly encourage things like journaling or leaving yourself voice notes when you have an idea, or if you're a person that likes to verbally process, to talk with a friend or a counselor or someone that you trust. So why am I saying all of this? This week we have the sun and Mercury coming together in what's called a conjunction, which is where they come together at the same point in the zodiac. And this is happening in the sign of Libra. So the sun is a symbol of our ego, our conscious awareness. It's the part of us that has kind of like this organizing or self-defining effect. Like, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. It's also associated with boundaries and confidence, and it has kind of this yang or paternal kind of energy to it as well. So the sun is very much about organizing who it is that we are and what differentiates us from ourselves, from versus other people. So a lot around conscious awareness and identifying things very specifically. Now, Mercury, in contrast, is about the intellectual mind. It's about our ability to process ideas at a cognitive level, to make sense of things. So to rationalize things, to understand through a story, to make meaning of things. Mercury, I'm really thinking about how it's helpful for some of us to understand the meaning behind a struggle or the meaning behind our journey, or to look back on the past and to understand why something happened in the way that it did. This is all Mercury territory. Now, Mercury is also associated with divination because it rules over it rules over language, and it also rules over symbolic communications. And so when these two come together, the sun and Mercury in Libra, this is kind of like a moment where our intellect and our conscious awareness are meeting together, and there is an opportunity to become very clear about who it is that you are, what it is that you want. And, it's a conjunction. Mercury is literally invisible in the sky because it's so close to the sun. So at this point, anytime that we see the sun, Mercury is right there. So like if we go outside at noon, the sun is overhead and Mercury is hovering around that point. So we literally cannot see the planet. So there is there's this sense of clarity, but also not seeing at the same time. And I hope that that makes sense. So it's kind of like this sensation. Maybe you've had this where you have a sense for something. It's like there's an intuition about something, but you can't quite put your finger on it. That's kind of the energy this week. And this is in the sign of Libra. And it's also happening very close to the South Node. So this is connecting in, of course, to our eclipse portal, our eclipse season. And when we think about the South Node is a symbol of connecting to potential, connecting to the unseen, connecting to our faith or spirituality or our intuition. And so there's this theme around connecting into to the knowing that you don't even know that you know. It reminds me very much of the high priestess energy in the tarot, that sort of like inner knowing that is a bit intangible at the same time. And this is so all of this, the South Node, the Sun, and Mercury are all in the sign of Libra. And the eclipse that we just had was in the sign of Libra. So this brings us to the planet Venus. And so Venus is pretty fresh in Virgo. It's at the early degrees of Virgo after being retrograde in Leo for so long. So Venus is really a strong theme in this month because it rules both eclipses that we're having. The Libra new moon eclipse ruled by Venus, and then the full moon lunar eclipse that we'll have next week in Taurus, that's also ruled by Venus. And so there's a theme here around relationships, around balance, finding equanimity, finding a sense of calm and harmony within yourself. And Venus being in Virgo, there's this way of being in a relationship that is about being focused on purpose, on what is helpful versus what is not helpful. This is very Virgo, Venus and Virgo, this discerning piece. And really being clear on our values and where it is that we're going. Or at least if we're not clear on that, then sitting with it and contemplating it and bringing some time and attention to it. Now, also important with this, the Sun, Mercury, and even the South Node in Libra is that these planets are going to square Pluto. So Sun and Mercury together, insight and awareness, and then a square to Pluto. So this Pluto coming into the equation brings a focus around Pluto themes, which are revealing anything that is hidden or unseen or taboo, working with power dynamics, power and control, and how it is that we relate to or identify with a sense of power and control, how we feel, what do I want to say here? Like how we feel powerful or not powerful, and how we cope when we feel a lack of control or autonomy. And Pluto is also connected to psychology and healing. And so like understanding our unconscious patterns of behavior are all themes that come up this week in particular with the Sun and Mercury square Pluto. So there's a lot of potential for really going deep into your psyche and your understanding of self. And sometimes we have to do a thing that we're like, oh, like, I can't believe I did that. We have to sort of like go unconscious into bringing something into consciousness. And we're never completely conscious of everything. So there's always unconscious patterns and behavior and things that are running in our background. And Pluto presents an opportunity to bring some awareness to something that's ready to move into consciousness. And so what this looks like at a practical level is as much as you can this week, being aware of when you start to feel taken over strongly by an emotion. In depth psychology, this is called working with the complex, where you kind of feel like irrationally, like it's almost like whenever there's an overreaction of emotion, it's like, oh, there's something there that might be more than just meets the eye. It might be, there might be something that you're feeling that's underneath the initial feeling of whether that's anger or anxiety or guilt or shame, etc. Now, this is really powerful also because on Saturday, we're having the first quarter moon in Capricorn. And so the moon is going to be with Pluto as this aspect, Sun, Mercury square Pluto is exact. And so it's kind of like there's this energy of building up to the weekend. And then over the weekend, that might be when things sort of click into place, or there's like, oh, like this is what it's about, or this is what I need to do. And I encourage you to be gentle with yourself this week and to know that, you know, you're doing the best that you can. And there may be some strong feelings that come up, especially over the weekend, and to find a way to process and digest those and to feel it, let it flow, and be with what you're feeling as much as you can, and to get the support that you need in order to do that. Okay. So I know that sounds like a lot, and yeah, it's a lot. And also we're in eclipse season. So, you know, just hang in there through this process. I think that sometimes periods like this, even when they're very emotionally intense, there can be a lot of inner growth and change that happens, especially when we do our best to be as present as we can with what's happening. And I'm saying this to you as well as to myself. So later in the week, Mercury will eventually move into Scorpio, and so this begins a new chapter in our Mercury intellectual thought process experience, with Mercury moving into this more inwardly focused and introspective sign. So we'll definitely talk more about that in the coming weeks. But this also tells me that there's kind of like this sense of clarity that comes over, especially over the weekend, because Mercury moving into Scorpio, it's going to come into contact with Mars and also make a trine to Saturn. So there's kind of this like solidity and sharp clarity that I think will come in over the weekend. Now, one of the really supportive aspects that's happening this month is we'll have Venus making a trine to Jupiter. And so this is really lovely because Venus and Jupiter are the benefic planets. Venus is about love and beauty, and Venus has the ability to bring healing and repair and restoration to a situation. And so when it's making a trine, a harmonious aspect to Jupiter, there's an opening up and an expansion and new possibilities, Jupiter, around themes of healing, relationships, beauty, aesthetics, and really just kind of like smoothing out some of these things. So a trine aspect is easy to gloss over because it is this easy, harmonious, flowing kind of energy. And so I encourage you this week to notice where it is that you are maybe like where there's some extra support, where there may be opportunities, where there may be even gifts that you can receive. And I'm really thinking about having a sense of support and safety and comfort. Like, where are those opportunities for you this week? Because that's really tapping into this this Venus Jupiter situation. So I know that sounds like a lot, and yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. As always, I'm going to pull 3 cards for you. So yeah, I wonder how you're feeling. I wonder especially like what's been coming up for you over the last couple of weeks. Because when we're in eclipse season, it's like there's big overarching storyline themes that come up, and they can get sort of like highlighted in different ways depending on the transits of each week. And so this week really feels like there's more cohesion around your understanding of what this eclipse season may mean for you in particular in your life, and where you're being guided by your psyche, by your soul, and what you want from that also, and how you feel about that. So if there is one particular situation or question or scenario that you would love more insight about, you can hold that in your heart. Return to your breathing and your physical body. Okay. So I'm using the Botanica Occulta Tarot. This is mostly floral plant imagery. Okay. Oh, this is really lovely. So the first card I have is the Nine of Pentacles. And the plant is a rose, and there's a bird on this plant that's sort of like perched on a branch, on a rose bush, essentially. So the Nine of Pentacles tends to be about a culmination of financial prosperity and comfort and luxury. It's like really this sense of having your material, literal physical needs met in a way that there's this sense of ease and relaxation. Like really sweet, encouraging card. And so this, to me, I'm thinking about these themes of Venus that we've been talking about, as far as Venus being an indicator of the things that soothe us, the things that comfort us. Like Venus is about luxury. And so this is the topic of this week: is what is the life that you envision for yourself? Like Nine of Pentacles is really about our ideal vision of our ideal lifestyle. And so I wonder what that is for you. I wonder how that is like what you're moving toward now in service of that, in service of your ideal lifestyle. That is super important. And then the second card is the Two of Cups. The plant is the periwinkle. And the imagery, there's two cups here with like a periwinkle kind of flower. And what I think is really interesting is the cups have, one of them has the, where the two snakes are intertwining. I believe it's called the caduceus. It's not three snakes, it's two snakes in this card. So this is kind of like in Indian text, there's the idea of the spiritual text, there's the idea of the Kundalini energy, and it rises, and that this is connected to a sense of spiritual awakening and a sense of the stability of the physical world. So like the root chakra energy, the roots growing up, and that there can be a sense of spiritual maturation when the physical needs are met. And Two of Cups in Tarot is about partnership, relationships coming together. Could be a single relationship. It could be simply a feeling more connected to people. It could be an individual relationship, but this is really about like feeling connected to others. That this is the core of this card is relationships, emotional satisfaction, or maybe even like emotional union if we're taking it more psychologically, where there's so this card especially could be if there's something that it feels like you have a this or that, an either or situation or scenario. This is about those polar opposites coming together in a way that feels unified and cohesive. Especially the snakes intertwining, the Kundalini energy. This is about the solar and the lunar energy sort of weaving together. So there's this theme here around with this second card, Two of Cups, around polarity coming together, very balanced, very Venus also, right? Okay, third card is the Two of Wands. The plant is the amaranth and the willow branches. So interesting, we have two twos. That feels relevant. Two of Wands is about, it's about having a vision. It's about also like releasing your vision into the world and having the foresight and kind of like also the confidence to put out into the world what it is that you want. So the way that I'm imagining this for you is that this could be about claiming what it is that you actually want, like what your ideal life is, the kind of ideal relationships that you want to be in, like really being bold and honest and allowing yourself to have the things that you want. This could be refining your vision on what your future looks like. Like this card, the Two of Wands, is very much about looking into the future and envisioning things and imagining what is possible. Like that's really what's happening here. And so yeah, I'm wondering if there's something here around your ideal life, your ideal lifestyle, what feels good to you, and that this is connected to either something inside of your psyche that maybe there's like a sense of conflict, like inwardly, and not conflict in a bad way, but this happens, sometimes we want this thing, but it's in, we want this thing also, and then maybe they're competing with each other. We can't have both things. And so it's like, how can we have all the things that we want and find a sense of, being able to make that work? Or this is also like a really strong theme around being in the relationships that you want to be, and then imagining what's possible in the future. So really, really encouraging spread for you this week, especially around looking at what it is that you really want, and the people that you want to be around, the situations that you want to have, and what really works for you. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. It's such a pleasure always to make these readings for you. My name is Shauna McGrath. Of course, I'm a psychotherapist and astrologer. And as I'm making more of these on podcast platforms like Spotify and iTunes, etc., I would absolutely love it if you leave a rating or a comment or whatever it is that you do on your favorite podcast platform, because that helps these become more discoverable to other people who are interested in astrology. And of course, I always love hearing from you on how you're doing and how this is landing for you. I am wishing you a wonderful week, sending you lots of love, and I will see you next week. Bye.